Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here with Keith Brock, who is the Marion County Solid Waste and Environmental Coordinator. And today we're going to talk some more about recycling. And you are getting some new equipment actually at the facility for the Marion County Cooperative Recycling Center, correct?
Absolutely, Gary. We've been blessed. Last year we prepared a grant, the fiscal court prepared a grant to upgrade the equipment at the recycling center. And you've got to understand that through the years what we've done at the recycling center to bale the commodities is we've had two vertical balers. It's the ones you see in all the businesses. They're kind of small. We've had two of those up there, and we put inmate labor at baling different commodities like tin cans and aluminum cans and cardboard. But it's gotten so big, we've increased volume so much over the past 10 years that we needed to really upgrade the equipment. So fall a year ago, I put in a grant with the Kentucky Department of Division of Waste Management to get some more equipment with the recycling grant. We got about $269,000. We got about $250,000 on the grant. Now you've got to understand that when the state fronts you that money, they actually front you 3/4 of it, and we had to come up with 1/4 of it, which is called the match. Well, the city of Lebanon graciously agreed to build a new recycling building, and actually it's under roof. I was up there a while ago this morning, and they're putting the ceiling in it. They're putting a real pretty white bi-rib ceiling and new lighting in it, and the building is 100 foot long by 48 foot wide. It's 4,800 square feet and really tall. The baler that we purchased with the grant was about $139,000 for this baler. And they have delivered the baler. We're going to put in a sorting mezzanine where we can put inmates up on a conveyor system and put commingled recyclables through a conveyor system, and they can pick the milk jugs out and they can pick the stuff out and put it in different bins. Because anytime you can sort, people do a really good job in delivering to the center. But a lot of times things are mixed up. They don't understand, or they don't read the signs, or maybe we don't have good enough signs. So they're kind of mixed and commingled. But if you can separate the different types of plastics and the different types of metals into like bins, then you get a better price for the recyclables. So we're going to sort and try to do a better job in preparing it for sale.
So is the baler, did you say it's here now, or when does that arrive?
It has arrived. They delivered it last week.
Okay.
Which would be the first last week of March.
Yeah. And when will it actually be functional then?
Well, they're finishing the building right now, and I hope within the next 30 days, maybe 6 weeks, we'll be able to actually bale with it. Now you've got to understand that this is a horizontal baler. The other ones were vertical balers. They came down and they come back up. This is a horizontal baler it's a side eject, and these bales are like 3 or 4 times bigger than the current balers that we have. So instead of having a 1,000-pound bale, we might be able to have a 2,500-pound bale, which will save a lot of space and a lot of baling time.
Okay.
But what the thing is really going to help us with is, as part of this grant, I purchased a grappler unit for the Bobcat that they've got for the lift equipment they've got up at the city barn. And we can just go to the bins and grab a whole lot of cardboard or materials with this and put it right in the loading chute instead of having to hand feed it. We can put it in the loading chute. It goes down a conveyor system from the loading chute. The baler rams it and bales it, and you do it all with equipment and all mechanically rather than by hand. The only thing you have to do is put the wire in there to where when the baler automatically ties the big bale, you open the door and a big bale comes out. You take a forklift and you store it until ready to sell. So it's really going to be good.
So now with this new equipment and the grant, you can also recycle more things. Is that correct?
Yes, we can. Now, as we've said in the past, there's a few things that we can't take at the center, but we really need to talk for a minute about what we actually can take.
Right.
We take most all types of cardboard. Now, cardboard, which is called corrugated or OCC, is probably one of the more valuable of all commodities that are baled. It really is. It's really cyclic as far as price goes. I'll give you a good example of that. I get a monthly printout from the state and the feds that tell me what the saleables, recyclables are bringing on the market. Cardboard per ton last year, in March of last year, was $65 a ton. This year it's $165 a ton.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, see, so it's really cyclic. It kind of goes up and down. So there are good times for all these recyclable commodities. Some of the ones, some commodities they don't want at all, especially if they're commingled. In other words, if I put drink bottles in with Clorox bottles or food grade items, plastic items in with Clorox bottles, they're commingled, they're mixed together, and they're not even saleable. But if you separate them into the various different types of plastics, like low density polyethylene, polyethylene, polypropylene, if you get them all separated and put them all in a common bale, they're sellable. And a lot of times when they're commingled, they're not.
Mm-hmm. So there are some items we were talking before that, if they are clean, you can recycle them, but sometimes
right.
You can't, no matter what, right?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to get everything spot clean, and we don't expect people to do that. But I said earlier, everybody can dump the drink or dump the Clorox or dump the bottle before they put it in a recycling bin.
Mm-hmm.
And we can take inmates and we can throw the ones out or dump out the ones that have inadvertently been put in the waste stream. But it's really difficult if we bale something that has a content to it. A lot of times it'll squish out with this baler. You've got to figure this baler is kind of like a compacting truck that picks up your waste. If you put a can of paint in the garbage out here for us to pick up with the sanitation trucks, if that paint is not solidified and hardened in that bucket, once that truck compacts it, what's going to happen to the paint? It's going to squish out all over everything. That's what happens in our recycling bales. So you really need to dump the bottles out. Rinse them if you can. If you'd help us that way, that would be great. You don't necessarily have to take the lids off of them, but keep them as clean as you can. Cardboard. There are a few things in cardboard, corrugated, that we really can't take. Quart oil boxes that you've shipped oil in for car oil changes and tractors and stuff. If it's oil contaminated, we don't want it. Now let's say you bring this stuff up to the recycling center, contaminated items, and you decide, well, it's too contaminated to put in the cardboard. We've got 2 8-yard dumpsters up there. All you got to do is walk across the lot, throw it in a dumpster at no charge. So you can help us that way by throwing contaminated stuff away. We can't take food contaminated cardboard. Can you think of one? Pizza box.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one. Pizza box. We'll take food. Plastic food items, microwavable stuff that you buy in, fast food stuff. We take that, but I don't want mac and cheese in it. Kind of wash it out or clean it out,
right.
Before you put it in the waste stream. So just kind of use common sense.
And when individuals, like we talked before, that the city of Lebanon does have pickup at their doors for recycling.
Yes.
But the rest of the counties, you can either go to the recycling center or go to various areas in the communities themselves, correct?
Right, with trailers.
With your trailers.
Right, usually around the fire department or city hall.
And when you go to either the trailers or to the recycling center, you'll be asked to actually separate your recyclables into various different bins,
yes.
Correct?
Yes, and we don't really want trash put into the recyclables. If you go up to our trailers that are located usually at the schools for the children and the lunchrooms, or from Loretta Raywick or Bradfordsville, the trailers are located there. Try your best to separate and put only the milk jugs or put only white office paper in the appropriate bins, because it causes problems when you put it becomes trash. Somebody has got to separate it. That's what I'm saying.
And if you separate it into the various different bins, that helps with
big time
packaging it and baling it and making it more
because what
sellable.
happens to that trailer, the inmate labor with an officer will come and pick your trailer up at Bradfordsville, Raywick, or Loretta, and they'll bring it up to the recycling center. We take a loader, a forklift, and we put forks under that thing. We pop the bottom of it, and we dump it in a bin. Well, if you can imagine what happens if liquid or garbage or unrecyclable will dump in our bin, it could ruin the whole bin, because oftentimes we dump it into bin that has commodities in it now. So you can really help us by keeping it clean.
How much would you be able to estimate how much recyclables are ruined because of missorting?
Don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
it is an issue that
it is an issue, and I've never put a pencil to it.
Yeah.
Kind of afraid to. Because recycling, Gary, it's not a for-profit thing.
Right.
At best, we probably break even, but that's not all the time. Now, if the city of Lebanon makes nothing on it, we make nothing on it. We really don't. You just don't. And if you figured everything, if you figured building maintenance, and if you figured lights, and you figured officers and workers, you'd probably lose big. But I know the City Council and the Marion County Fiscal Court knows that it's just the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do for the environment and the world, of course, but also it helps financially, just in that those items don't go to the landfill as well. Correct.
If we win, if the Fiscal Court wins on recycling, it's by cost avoidance of landfilling it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to transport it to the Nelson County landfill, and we don't have to pay a cost of disposal for that particular waste. Plus, it's the right thing to do.
Right. And you can find out more if you're interested in learning exactly what can be recycled and what can't be by going to a website, correct?
Yes. Yes, what we do, we have a Facebook page and a website up for the Marion County Fiscal Court now. And you can go there. Or you can also call me at the office, and I'll supply you with some information. Again, my name is Keith Brock, and my phone number here at the office, I usually work 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But if a holiday falls on one of those days, then I'll work another day. But usually 3 days a week. And I'm usually here from 8 to 4:30, unless I'm out doing environmental or whatever in the county. My phone number here at the office is 270-692-0799. It's my office phone.
Give Keith a call if you have some questions about recycling, and hopefully we can build up the amount of stuff that's being recycled in Marion County.
Let me tell you another recycling program that we've been able to initiate in the last 3 or 4 years. And a lot of people don't know about this. I get frequent calls in the run of a year on the waste tire amnesty. About every 3 or 4 years, the state of Kentucky will open up a tire disposal recycling initiative in each county, and they go by AD district, area development district, Lincoln Trail, and Three Rivers, whatever. But there is times, and we usually have it at the State Highway Barn, and a lot of you have participated in that through the years. Last time we got about 23,000 tires, which was last year. But the state came out with a interim recycling time whereby the counties could apply for a grant, and if you receive the grant, then they'll front us so much money a year to get rid of tires that people will drop off to a central point here in the county. I've always accessed that grant for the Marion County. It's $4,000 a year. And what they do, they'll send us a check for that at the beginning of the year. And individuals who are cleaning out their barn, people who have sheds, waste tires, inmates finding tires on the side of the road. What we allow them to do is bring those tires, and I have anywhere from 1 or 2 tires up to 40 or 50 tires. If a man's cleaned his barn out, they can bring them out to the Marion County Road Department barn out on 208, Highway 208. And during normal duty hours, if you can call me at that number I just gave you, I'll arrange for you to take those tires. You have to transport them, and there's a place behind the county barn where you can deposit them, and then I'll have a recycler come in periodically and do the right thing to get rid of them. And it's no cost to the individual, and it's taken out of that grant. Now, every year that we have the grant, we have had to send back some money because they'll front you $4,000. I think last year we sent back about $1,600. So it's good that we could use all the grant if we could. So if you have any waste tires, just call it 270-692-0799, and I'll make arrangements for you to deliver those tires in a trailer, truck, pickup truck out to the county barn, and no cost. We'll get rid of them for you free.
Great. So lots of ways to help the environment and help the county.
It is, absolutely.
Great. Well, again, I've been talking with Keith Brock, who is the Marion County Solid Waste and Environmental Coordinator. It's been Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television.